Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast in a game between Clash Imagine versus Soccer. Soccer able to knock out the three-time winner with an impressive timing push, I gotta say. And I think if the game had gone any longer, it would not go well for Soccer. Soccer was able to utilize those Void Rays very effectively and attack when his opponent simply wasn't expecting it and could not get enough Hydralisk out. Now, we are moving on to Game 5. Will Soccer continue this win streak? Let's go ahead and find out, as he's going to be going up against Clash's Imagine. Imagine spawning here as the blue Protoss player at what I will call the 7 or 8 o'clock position. Meanwhile, off to the north or directly north of him, we see Soccer spawning as the red Protoss. So this is going to be Protoss versus Protoss, a Protoss mirror match. And this is one of those games where I really have no idea what exactly will be happening. Now, this center Naga tower does not stay here for very long. That's an important thing to note. It only stays here for 420 seconds since the start of the map. So the center portion will be very, very wide open. Now, in a Protoss versus Protoss mirror match, it's always important to see who has or who is slightly ahead in terms of the gateway and warp gate and cybernetics core. Now, I will say that Soccer is transitioning from Warcraft 3, I believe, and with that, he may not be nearly as strong or nearly had as much practice within the Protoss versus Protoss mirror match, where the game does really come down to a game of seconds. Players are now doing a bit of scouting here. Quickly, 3 probes now on gas. We'll see if Soccer scouts in the correct direction. It does not look, or he actually may, and if he scouts in the correct direction, he will find his opponent at approximately the same time. Oh, is he going to go the wrong way? No, he is going to continue to go down to the south side here. Go ahead and scout this position, as we now see this one gateway and cybernetics core coming into play. So far, Imagine does have a slight advantage. The probe will come in for Imagine and take a quick look around. Meanwhile, Soccer is going to take a quick look around. And Soccer did delay his scouting probe a little bit, so he should have a slight economic lead. You can see that he is training up some more probes, but he is also slightly behind in terms of the cybernetics core. And most likely also that warp gate tech. A second gateway, it looks like, a second gateway already coming in from Soccer, and Soccer getting that second gateway, it will delay some early zealots, as the probe just sitting inside the mineral path right now, perhaps going to come in, do a little bit of harassment. The Stalker is not getting chrono boosted out, unlike Imagine, I believe, did chrono boost out his Stalker, and now the probe most likely will have to try to run away. Will the probe be able to get away in time is the question there, as the Stalker does get off 2 shots, but unable to continue that chase. Right now, we see a pylon now warping in by Imagine, and now this is going to be very, very annoying, as it does need to get taken out. The probe is now hiding around the side over here, and if Imagine is able to keep this probe inside the base and warp in another pylon, that is going to spell some problems, as we now see that there are gateways off over here. The Stalker now going to engage, and now Soccer looking for a proxy pylon, doesn't know how close it is, as the pylon has not yet started warping in. Meanwhile, you see Soccer setting up his own proxy pylon, so both players doing very, very similar strategies, except for Soccer is currently supply blocked at 26/26. Meanwhile, Imagine is at 28/34. Soccer finally breaking the supply lock, and we'll see whether or not that probe, yes, the probe does warp in a pylon, and here we go. Soccer going to have a bit of problems here. The probe is now wandering around on the inside. Those gateways are going to turn into warp gates in just a second. Is this probe going to spot? Is Soccer going to scout out this down over here? No, he is not. That pylon is still there. And Imagine can easily warp in a round or 2 of zealots well before it is done. Meanwhile, Soccer now trying to warp in on the low ground here. There is a sentry and 2 Stalkers up on the high ground. 3 Stalkers going to try to walk up this ramp over here. A bad force field, but 1 Stalker is still taking a little bit too much damage. The probe trying to get inside, and it still takes a little bit more damage. Stalkers unable to see up onto that high ground, getting choked up there, and Soccer is just doing really, really badly, losing 2 Stalkers so needlessly, and now behind by 12 food. Imagine Still has, what is this? Imagine still has, I thought he had a Zealot inside here. We can now see some Zealots guarding the ramp in addition to one Stalker here. There is still this one pylon off over here, as Imagine is going to try to hold the ramp. One poor probe will get taken down as Zealot's now making his way straight inside the base. The Zealot going to perhaps take down a couple of probes very, very easily. A Zealot now warping in alongside. The Zealot going to get some easy kills. There it goes, up against a Stalker now. And he's probably wondering where exactly that Zealot came from. The Zealot's gonna go ahead and hunt for that pylon, but down this pylon does get taken out as Imagine now busting down the ramp, and Soccer going to lose many of these Stalkers over here. You can see a lot of damage being had. 5 Stalkers against 2. The 2 are desperately trying to run away. Reinforcements could come in, but I believe the other Stalkers will simply just get ahead of them. 2 Stalkers now in the front. Who has the better micro? 2 on 2. Soccer now forced to retreat. This is not good news. Soccer now trying to run away, taking more damage very needlessly, as he's going to be losing some more pylons. Taking a look at the losses, Soccer will have lost 1250, if not 1350 in terms of total resources. This pylon down over here has not been scouted though, as we now have an observer on the field. Meanwhile, Soccer going for a Twilight Council and a robotics facility of his own. Now you can see that Imagine has pretty much full sight of the inside of Soccer's base. Observer just wandering around. You can see the front door. You can see the robotics facility alongside that Twilight Council. Harvester count is 33 for Imagine versus 23 for Soccer. Somehow Imagine able to continue to train up probes, and now very well saturated on one base. Soccer is in trouble. Robotics Bay now being added by Soccer, but I do not believe the Robotics Bay will come in on time. 65 seconds, and then add that another, I believe, 75 seconds for the Colossus. And that Colossus will be significantly delayed, as there's not much that you can really do about it. Stalkers and the Sentry is simply waiting here. An observer from Soccer does spot this, and now is going to park himself off over here. The observer does have a little bit of a flicker, and does Imagine spot this as well. Imagine and Soccer, both of them are doing a little bit of a dance, but this observer now needs to get away down to 40 hit points. Is it going to be able to get away in time? I don't believe so. There's the blink. The blink has been revealed, and Imagine now with a very, very easy way getting inside the main base. An observer now being trained, even though it should most likely be a Colossus. Even though you need to try to destroy the observer to stop any blinking, there is a force field. There's another force field up on the ramp. Imagine doesn't want to blink up there. An Immortal would be able to deal tons of damage, as Imagine also looking to set up his natural expansion. You can see the Stalkers are trying to walk forward here. More damage being had. The Immortal, there's some more force fields corralling. Imagine going to be doing some nice blink play, peeling back, making sure that no Stalkers take too much damage. And what is happening over here? A Zealot now going to go ahead and try to scout out if there is a fast expansion. Or an expansion. Not very fast about it, since this is the 11-minute mark of the game. Zealot does spot this now, going to try to walk inside the main base. It looks as though the Stalkers and the Sentries are simply retreating home. 3 Zealots already warped in as well. The Stalkers now looking, making sure that there are no additional bases established anywhere, as Imagine still has pretty much free reign flying around with that one observer parking it even inside the base. Soccer now up to 27 harvesters compared to 31, but we will soon have an additional 8 mineral patches here, as Imagine will no longer be mining at diminishing returns. Yeah, couldn't think of the right word to say for a little bit of time, as Imagine now makes his way over with 3 Zealots. However, the Stalkers may be able to poke this down, and yes, if it does get taken down, Imagine now in the trouble, losing 8 food there. The Stalkers have not found this proxy pylon down here, and with extended thermal lance range and a second Colossus, that may just be enough, even though you do have to deal with the blink on those Stalkers. The Stalkers with blink maybe should be able to blink forward and focus down the Colossus, but the Colossus, only one Colossus there. I'm sorry, Imagine is the blue player, so Imagine is getting up another Colossus, so we'll be even on Colossi, except for Imagine will have the extended thermal lance range. Currently only one Colossus for each army, A second one already being added by Imagine in addition to extended thermal lance range, and how much damage can be had. Stalker now looking to push in off over here. Stalkers are going to engage. One Stalker there. Force field on the ramp. Sentries are now in trouble. There's the Guardian Shield. And here we go. Immortals now battling up. There is a Colossus on the high ground. And now all those units are trying to pull away again. Stalkers could perhaps try to get some easy damage here. The Colossi now destroying all the force fields, making sure that the Stalkers have room to maneuver. Soccer now once again with a better food count, but is he going to be able to outlast this army, especially when a second Colossus comes in and extended thermal lances comes online? Soccer pushing in at the right time here, but he's going to quickly lose his momentum. A second Colossi and now extended thermal lance ranges will be done, and this is going to be a very, very hard battle here. Guardian Shield now being thrown up. Imagine now with a 90 to 89 advantage, but there is a 3-fooded advantage. The Immortals really have to deal a lot of damage in order to win out in this war. Imagine now going to try to re-engage. Templar Archives now coming in. Here we go. Both sides battling up. Stalkers now getting a flank on the top left on the high ground. Colossus now trying to back off. The Immortals doing a good job, but instead focusing on the Zealots instead of focusing on the Stalkers or the Colossus. Soccer now down to 55. The extended thermal lance range and just a very, very smart blink by Imagine, able to blink up onto the high ground here on the top left, getting a good concave, allowing more Stalkers to deal damage. The Immortals not focusing on Stalkers, instead focusing on Zealots. The Zealots can take a lot more hits from the Immortal. The Immortal does more than double the damage, actually 250% damage against a Stalker than as opposed to a Zealot. Real problems there as Soccer quickly loses his hill loses his spot in the King of the Hill clan war style, and we'll see what's going to be coming up. I feel a little bit tongue-tied, but then again, Protoss versus Protoss mirror matches often do that to me. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed Game 5 in this series. I'm going to be casting the remaining games tomorrow. Hope you guys stay tuned for that.